Now that we have had the anatomical overview regarding the muscles, the joints, and the bones of the wrist and hand, now it would be easier for us to understand actually the functions of the hand. So in this part of the lecture, we're actually going to take a look at the functions of the hand generally, and also the prehensile and the non-prehensile functions of the hand. So we will start off with the hand function. What is hand used for? So the primary function of the hand is grasp or prehension, and that actually leads to the prehensile functions of the hand. But there are also non-prehensile functions of the hand, which we're going to take a look in a moment. So non-prehensile functions of the hand are numerous. One of them is very important, is the expressing emotion, which is actually a very important part of our body language, and it's not only important for us, and sometimes we can see that a lot of individuals who are unable to communicate, such as people who are, we can say, who cannot talk, they actually use their hand gestures to make others understand of their emotions, of their whatever they are trying to say, and that is actually also known as sign language or gesture language or hand language. And so we can say that hand or is very important in terms of our body language and the way we express our emotions. So another very important function is scratching. So whenever we are having an itch, we use our hands to scratch it, and that is one of the non-prehensile functions of the hand as well. Another very important is we may use it for violent purposes, but we can sometimes it may be used for other things as well, but it is still a function, and even though it may be violent, like for example using a fist as a club, so that can be a violent use of the hand as well. And another not so violent yet very important function of the hand is using the open palm, for example as in pushing down an armrest to assist in standing. As you can see, this lady here, she is using her palms and pushing her weight down. Because of that body reaction force or the joint reaction force, she's able to lift herself up. And once again, not just lift herself up, she can also let herself descend down gradually, so it can be important in that sense as well. Moreover, another very important non-prehensile function of the hand is sense, because if we talk about it, is very sensitive in terms of senses. And if we talk about our motor cortex and sensory cortex, there is a very broad area of brain which is dedicated to the hand, and it has a great you can say it has a great area in brain which is dedicated in terms of the homunculus dedication towards the hand, because it is very sensitive for sensations, as well as it is very important for the delicate and intricate movements or motor movements. So senses, we can we use our hands to sense a lot of things like touch, temperature, and we can say other mechanical senses, and a lot of senses in short. And another very important thing is the stereognosis. Stereognosis is also a sort of a sensation, or can evolve an evolved sensation, in which we can hold an object with our hands, and without even looking at it we can actually guess what it is. And that can be used as an example in the case, for example, if a lady has a handbag and she puts her hand in her handbag, and she wants to take out her lipstick or her hairbrush or something like that, she doesn't even take a look, and she knows what she's actually taking out of her handbag, and that is actually known as stereognosis. And that is also one of the very important functions with the hand, and that coincides very perfectly with the prehensile functions of the hand as well. Now, what is prehension? As you already mentioned, that it is actually the grasping functions of the hand are related to prehension, and then manipulating the objects that we grasp with our hand. So with prehension, grasping, holding an object, hand use depends on some different factors, such as the size of the object. So if the object is small or large, it would actually differ the way we hold it or we grasp it. Similarly, the shape of the object, the weight of the object, and how the object will be used, that also matters a lot. For example, a spoon, if a spoon is to be used for eating, it is going to be held in a different way. It is, if you're just picking and putting in some another place, it will be held in a different way. Similarly, involvement of the proximal segments of the upper extremity is also very important when it comes to the function of the hand and how these movements are going to be performed. So talking about the prehensile functions of the hand, let's take an example of this person who's having a salad. And if you take a look, so there is not just the you can say the precision or the grasp of the hand, but there's also an involvement of the wrist, which is keeping it in extension, and although the elbow joint, which actually the elbow flexion extension helps the person to take the food away and towards the mouth of the individual, and also the shoulder, which actually places the hand in the space to perform purposeful movement. So the involvement of the proximal joints is also very important in terms of prehensile functions of the hand. So as I already mentioned, shoulder girdle and glenohumeral joints place the hand in space. Elbow allows the hand to move closer or farther away from the body, especially the face. Wrist provides stability by keeping the hand in a functional position, and the hand manipulates the object, and that is actually a collaborative function of all of these joints that results in a purposeful movement. Another very important thing to understand is that prehensile function does not only or necessarily means grasp or grip. It also is related to release. So the grasp is not functional or purposeful if we lack the ability to release the object. So although much attention tends to be placed on the grasping aspect of the hand function, release is equally important. And release is actually the role of the extensors of the hand in terms of all the metacarpal phalangeal, proximal interphalangeal, and distal interphalangeal extensors. So without the ability to release, the hand grasp function is greatly diminished and even may not be purposeful. Now, when we understand and when we talk about grips, the thing that we need to understand before going towards grip and grasp is actually the optimal position for the hand function, also known as the functional position of the hand. So if we want to perform any function related to prehension or grasp, we need to have the optimal position for the purposeful movements, which is actually the position or which is most effective in terms of strength and precision. That functional position of the hand or the optimal position of the hand is in the position in which the wrist is in slightly extended position, as we can see here. The metacarpal phalangeal joints and proximal interphalangeal joints are slightly flexed, and the thumb is in opposition, but that may adopt and vary from object to object. So types of grips are actually two. We have the power grips, which are used for powerful activities, and precision grips, which are used for intricate and delicate movements such as writing and sewing. And activity dictates that which grip is needed. If we need power and strength, we go for power grip, and if we need very fine motor movements, then we go for precision grips. So power grip is used when an object needs to be held forcefully while being moved about by more proximal joint muscles, such as holding a hammer or opening a door via a doorknob. On the other hand, it involves an isometric contraction with no movement occurring between hand and the object. And the movement is actually occurring at the more proximal joints, such as the elbow or the shoulder. On the other hand, precision grip is used when an object needs to be manipulated in a finer and discrete, or we can say in very fine motor activities. And the example would be such as holding a pen or threading a needle, and it's actually the movements are occurring at the level of the wrist and hand instead of the shoulder and elbow, because we need very fine, small, delicate, and precise movements. So that was all about the overview of the functions of the hand, and in the upcoming sections we're going to talk about the power grips in detail and the subtypes, as well as the precision grips and its subtypes. So stay tuned to sqadia.com for more lectures like this, and thank you very much.